Hello, and welcome to Maybe I Can, exploring possibilities one sprinkle at a time. If you've ever found yourself asking, is this all there is to life? Then you're in the right place. I'm Debbie, author, speaker, entrepreneur, and coach. And every Tuesday, I'm here to share a sprinkle of hope and inspiration. Together, we'll uncover the more joy, more fulfillment, more prosperity, more fun. We'll share stories of transformation, actionable tips, and that little nudge you need to take the next step. So let's embark on this journey of discovery and say, maybe I can, to a life filled with more. Ready to find out? Let's get started. The Maybe I Can show starts now.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm your host, Debbie Weiss, and welcome back to the show. And today we are going to talk about more hope. Hope. Remember what that felt like as you were a kid? And I think we all had hopes and dreams, and hopefully that continued for you on into your adulthood. But so often we sometimes lose hope and our dreams don't materialize, and so we give up, and we don't want to do that. But before I dive in, I want to talk to you about something else. And I'd like to be able to say that this was one of my hopes and dreams as a young girl, but it really wasn't. It has not become a dream of mine until the last year or two. And that is the fact that I've become an author. And I published my first book back in August of 2023. And when I say my first book, it kind of blows me away that there's going to be more than one book. But that's exactly what I want to talk to you about. So last week, I excitedly turned in the first draft of my second book called The Sprinkle Effect: Essential Steps to Begin Transforming Your Life. And I'm super excited about it. And it won't come out for several months, and it's in the beginning stages, but one of the beginning stages is having beta readers. Beta readers are people like you who hopefully would have an interest in this book. And what I'm asking is that you take the time to read it and give me feedback. And I'm not talking about feedback like, oh, your grammar is off or you missed a comma here. That type of edit will come later on down the line. This is really just the first raw version. And I want feedback on, did it land for you? Did this not make sense? I want more here. I don't want, to hear so much about this story that you're telling me, too much detail. I mean, I really want the honest truth. So I got to read this for a second. So the book itself is about making little changes that add up, just like sprinkles on a cupcake or on your ice cream sundae. It's a simple guide, and it shows you how small tweaks in areas similarly to what we've been discussing, like mindset, resilience, connections, they can all bring color and joy into your everyday life. And each chapter has easy to follow steps. So at the end of each chapter, it has activities that I ask you to complete in order to fully get the effect of that sprinkle, so to speak. So as a beta reader, I would ask you to do those activities because I want to know if you felt they were valuable or not. You do need to commit to reading the manuscript and providing feedback during a 2-week period of time. That's most likely going to be between June 3rd and June 17th. You also have to read it on the computer. So I know that might be a problem for some people. You can't print it, and it won't be on Kindle or anything like that. So if you're interested, please go to the show notes, and there is an interest form there. Just fill that out. It'll give you a little more information. If you have any questions, just email me at debbie@debbierweiss.com. And thank you so much to any of you who are interested. Really, really appreciate it. All right. So let's start to talk about hope. Hope. So the definition of hope is a feeling or expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. And as I said in the intro, I can think back to my own life and being a little girl, what were my hopes and dreams, and I had it. I don't know where, I guess it doesn't matter where it comes from. It comes from some place inside of you. And I knew when I grew up that I was going to be a teacher. That was my hope. I was going to be a teacher. I was going to get married at 27. My husband was going to have dark hair. I want to say tall, dark, and handsome. I guess that was kind of it, tall, dark, and handsome, but not too handsome, if you know what I mean. And funny and loving, and of course, just the perfect husband. And I would get married at 27, and we would have our first child when I was 29, and that would be a boy. And 2 years later, I would have a girl, and that would complete our family. And we'd live, in a nice house in a nice neighborhood, like nothing crazy, right? I didn't have dreams to change the world, and I didn't have big, hairy dreams like, I want to be a billionaire and, live on a cliff somewhere. I didn't have any of those dreams. Those were my dreams. And, as life happened and things change, it didn't really turn out the way that I dreamt it. And I think often as we go through life, either, I don't want to say our dreams get crushed, but you do hear that so many times, right? I did want to be a teacher, but I remember my mother saying to me, I don't want you to be a teacher. Because meaning when my mom was growing up and going to college, women didn't have many options. They could either be a teacher or a nurse. That was what was common, right? Most women weren't allowed or didn't go into other fields. And she said, you're the first generation that can do anything that you want. Why would you pick a teacher? And so I guess I understood what she was saying. I don't really recall the moment where I kind of gave up on the whole teacher idea. And I didn't know, as many young people had, I didn't have any other idea what I wanted to be. And so I had one grandfather who was a CPA, and I had another grandfather who was an attorney. And I just said, okay, I'll be an accountant and then I'll go to law school. And I wanted to be a sports attorney. I wanted to be an attorney who handled contracts for professional athletes. And I was excited about it. And I did get my undergraduate degree in accounting. And I actually took the LSATs to get into law school. And right before I started applying, I got engaged. And, it was like, okay, well, how can I go to law school? I'll go to law school later. And I wound up not getting married to that fiance. It's a good thing. I was crushed at the time, but things work out for a reason. And so as soon as I graduated, I just started working as an accountant. And I've told the rest of my story many times. I did that for 10 years, and I got an opportunity to move from New York to New Jersey and have my own insurance agency, which I got to say was like not under the big hopes and dreams umbrella growing up and even into adulthood, but things happen for a reason, and it was a wonderful gift that I received. So now here we are as adults, and for me, things were fine. I had nothing really to complain about. Was being an insurance agent my dream? No. Did I have any grand hopes for my future? Not really. I mean, what were my hopes? Obviously, I want my kids to grow up healthy and be happy and be successful and have families and, all of that. And I want to live a long, happy, healthy life. And, just kind of praying that somehow I'll figure out how to ever save enough money to retire. That was it. and I felt like that was enough till I started listening to podcasts. And eventually, as I've mentioned in other episodes, taking the plunge and taking my first course that wound up being about mindset. And in one of the early lessons, the teacher talked about your dream life. What does your dream life look like? And I thought, oh my goodness, what kind of question is that? Dream life? Like, do you think at this point in my life, at 50 something years old at the time, I'm really like believing that a dream life is still possible? What the heck could possibly change between now and when is that dream life going to be? And when I'm 80, I thought it sounded ridiculous. And I felt like it was too late for me. What I had was fine. And I didn't really have a right to dream and to hope that things could be different and that I never gave myself permission to dream. So when she started talking about this exercise about describing your dream life, I was really stumped. I I I couldn't even imagine where to begin. And so then she read her own dream life and she described in such detail what was happening every minute of the day, what time it was, where she was, what it felt like. As I listened to her description, I I thought, boy, you know what? Her dream life sounds pretty darn good. I'll steal her dream life. I like so many of her ideas, but I almost felt like it would be a tease to really spend time thinking about this because was I just setting myself up for disappointment? And boy, what a fixed mindset that was. What a negative perspective that was. Why why not? Why not? Other people live their dream. Why can't I? And why can't you? We can, but we just need to be deliberate. It isn't just going to happen. I wish, I Dream of Jeannie used to be one of my favorite TV shows growing up. And I just wish that we could go to the beach and that lantern would wash up and we would dust it off and out would pop a genie and we could ask that genie for anything we wanted. Now that is crazy. And even though I watch my lottery dream life or whatever the heck that is, my lottery dream home on HGTV, and I think, well, look at those people. They won the lottery. I guess that's my only dream. That would be my dream. And then I could go and I could buy my dream home. But it doesn't seem real and it doesn't seem possible. And, it is, I don't know what the odds are to win the lotto. I mean, we all know it's like 1 in a billion. I'd rather bet on myself. And I think that you would rather bet on yourself as well. Betting on ourselves really, I don't even know. I don't want to say increases, doubles, triples, quadruples the odds that we can actually make that dream life happen. But I do think that the first thing is that we just have to figure out what would that be? What is our dream life? And you're not gonna, it's not one and done, right? I started the exercise and in a minute, I'm gonna read you exactly what my first attempt was. And it's a little bit embarrassing because, I wrote it not thinking that anybody else was going to ever hear it, but I am not editing it. So this is my first attempt at this exercise while taking that course. And I have to say before I start, I mean, the woman that I took the course from, hers was in a lot more detail than this, but again, this was my first attempt. Okay, here we go. My new company will grow into a multi-million-dollar business that will help thousands of people regain their lives and sanity by reminding and teaching them to take care of themselves. I will be on the board of directors, and Ben will be running the company if he chooses. If not, I will hire a CEO so I can semi-retire. Every day I will wake up in my beautiful bedroom and be smiling just thinking about the day ahead. I will do yoga, meditate, journal, and eat a healthy breakfast. I'll then get ready to go to an exercise class or play pickleball with friends. In the afternoon, I'll work for a few hours and then enjoy the day and evening with my loving, adoring partner. He will be someone who is positive and believes that anything is possible. He will be a source of light and energy and someone who can make me laugh and is good company. In the evening, we'll watch a show or read a book. I will be a reader. Sometimes we'll go out with friends in the evening, and other nights we'll enjoy a quiet evening. We'll enjoy and appreciate the sunshine and our beautiful surroundings. I will see Sam and Ben as often as possible. I will be a big part of my grandchildren's lives. I'll be there to watch their games, recitals, etc. They will know just how much I love them and will always be there for them. My life will be filled with joy, love, and happiness. I will appreciate the gift of every day and will make the most of it. I will travel several times a year to Europe, different parts of the United States, or a tropical location. I'll travel with my partner, friends, and/or family. We'll fly first class and stay in beautiful hotels with wonderful service. We will have the VIP package and get to see all the sights of our destination. I will live a long, happy life. I will eat a healthy diet and make exercise a daily priority. I will enjoy massages and facials whenever I like. I will have abundant financial wealth that will allow me to enjoy the finer things in life. I'll have a home in Florida, one in Rehoboth Beach, and another wherever the kids live. Each home will be beautifully decorated. I will be able to pay for my grandchildren's education and have enough money to leave my family so they'll never have to worry. Okay, that's as far as I got. That was my first attempt. And this was, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago. So when I read it now, there's things that I would certainly change, but you get the idea. When I read all of that, now I have to be honest, the first thing I thought to myself is, well, how the heck is that going to ever happen? It's a lovely dream. It's wonderful to hope that it'll happen, but how? And the next part of the exercise that we were given was to read this out loud every day. And I did it. I did it for several weeks. And then I have to say the habit kind of went to the wayside. But each day that I read it, I did start to gain a feeling of excitement and, well, maybe, and why not? And how could I start to make this happen? You know, when I first came up with it, or when I first heard the idea, I thought, how? This is impossible. Like I said, I had a negative mindset and all the self-doubt and the limiting beliefs came up. I could never make that much money. Oh, if I did make, what would I sell people? How would I do it? I don't want to be some kind of gross salesperson. That's just not me. You know, that's for somebody else. And I don't know anything about this. I don't see, I'm not worthy to do this. I am not up for this. I don't have what it takes. I don't have what it takes. I don't have the time left in my lifetime to make all of this happen. All of those self-doubts, those limiting beliefs that we talked about several weeks ago, those stories that we tell ourselves, that we got from other people in our childhood, messages that we've believed about ourselves for a lifetime, come back to haunt us. It feels impossible. And why hope and dream about something that'll never happen? Well, you know what? If you think it'll never happen, you're absolutely right. It will never happen. I wish I had the quote in front of me that Henry Ford said, if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you're right. Something like that. So it all starts with our mindset. And the more that you review this dream life, the more that you start to read it, you do kind of like get that, I think I can from that book mindset. So there is definitely something to it. And now that you have that hope, that you have that dream, you can start to figure out, okay, well, what am I going to do? What is one small little step that I can take that might move me in that direction? And it gets to be exciting. You've got to break it down. I said one of my first sentence was that my new business was going to become a multi-million dollar company. Well, at the time that I had taken this course, I was in the process of launching a new business. And well, why not? Why couldn't my new business become a multi-million dollar company? Other people's businesses did. But what I realized was, again, Jeannie, she's not coming. It was going to take me making the effort and figuring out what those steps were and are to make that business a multi-million dollar company. Now, spoiler alert, that business I wound up leaving and pivoting to something different, but that's okay. That's okay because I'm still on the journey, right? Even though it might not have been that particular business that I was writing about then, that's all right because I took steps, I took action, and I had belief. And that spurred me forward. The minute that we start to give up hope, we're done, right? I mean, I had basically given up hope of having any more than I did. And was I 100% satisfied? No. Was I 100% dissatisfied? No. But why not live the dream? I mean, we are on this earth for such a short amount of time. Don't you want to make the most of it? I know that I do. I'm done with being complacent. I'm done with thinking there is no other way. I am done with listening to all the excuses that I have been telling myself, and maybe you've been telling yourself for a lifetime. There are no excuses. There are no valid excuses. We have control of this life. We have control of our actions. No, we can't control the outside forces and what other people do and circumstances that surround us. But we can control how we think, how we dream, and the actions that we take. And that's why it's so imperative to have hope, to have a dream, a specific dream that you have laid out and written out. And so I am going to say to you that I'm giving you this homework. I'm going to give you the same homework that I was given. And I really hope, gee, get it? Hope. But I do. I really hope. I wish I could jump through this microphone and jump through this camera and shake you and say, listen to this, because this started it. This is one of the first exercises that I did that really started me on my little chugga chugga choo choo train of I think I can. And I no longer think I can. I know I can. And I want you to also know that you can. So if you're driving or walking now, you can't do this. But I ask that when you stop and you have a few minutes to go somewhere quiet with a pen and paper, take a few deep breaths, get away from whatever was going on in your day-to-day life and close your eyes and imagine what that dream life would look like in as much detail as possible. As I read mine now, I realized that I was just scratching the surface. As much detail as you can add. Focus on what you hear, what you smell, what you feel, the sensations around you, who you're with, and describe that typical day. And really tap into what it feels like you could jump into your story. And then every day, I mean it, every day, you pick a time that works for you, first thing in the morning, at night, at lunchtime, middle afternoon, have a break, have some almonds, because I just had almonds, so that's why I'm saying that, and read it. Read it every day and start believing. Keep hoping, but also believing and taking action, which we'll talk more about next week, what you do with this to start to put you on the path that's going to take you to that dream life. All right, that's it. You're going to do this? You are, right? Promise me. Because it is going to just get you excited for what's waiting out there for you. Until next time.
Thanks for spending part of your day with me here on Maybe I Can, exploring possibilities one sprinkle at a time. It's been great having you, and I hope you're leaving with a spark to light up your journey to more. Remember, every big change starts with a single maybe. If you're ready to kickstart that change but not sure where to begin, I've got just the thing for you. Head over to download my free guide, The One Critical Step to Kickstart Change, and take that all-important first step. Let's make those maybes into reality one sprinkle at a time. Catch you next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific with more stories, tips, and that extra push you might need. I'm Debbie saying goodbye for now, but always remember, maybe, just maybe, you can.